How's it going, traders? Hopefully you guys enjoy this weekly Forex forecast, and make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Alright, starting things off with the US dollar index Cot Report. The past week the banks got rid of 3,623 longs and they got rid of 3,185 short positions. And remember, if you do want that Cot Report spreadsheet, lifetime access, link to the Patreon in the description down below. Now, looking at the weekly chart of the US dollar, remember we still have that weekly uptrend. We did react off a weekly supply. I believe that is why we have seen a little bit of a down move in the US dollar that is more visible on the lower time frames. But remember, we still have, like I said, weekly uptrend, a daily uptrend. But if you look at the 4-hour chart, which I'm going to go to now, you can clearly see that we are kind of basing out sideways. We had a very significant upward momentum, which was broken by this supply zone. And as you can see, we reacted off this supply zone pretty clearly right here. So now what we're waiting for, or at least what I'm waiting for on the US dollar, is for this 4-hour supply to be removed first before, just hopping in long on any US dollar pairs. Although going long on US dollar pairs is technically fine, based on the overall weekly and daily uptrends. But for me personally, I think it's best to wait for this 4-hour supply to be removed first, which would prove to us that price is probably going to break this supply and continue with the 4-hour uptrend, which would overall continue with the weekly and the daily uptrend. So the US dollar is still looking very, very strong in my opinion. Who knows, we could see a significant down move, but that's fine because if you look at a daily chart, we have significant demand down below, which we could react off of. So overall, my bias towards the US dollar is definitely long. All right, on to the Euro USD forecast. The past week, the banks added 2,500 long positions and they got rid of 22,000 short positions. And if you remember in last week's forecast, I talked about how the euro was starting to see a move up, but we had daily supply right here and weekly supply right here, and I expected a reaction off of either one or both of those zones. And as you can see, we reacted perfectly off daily supply and we started to push down from there. So hopefully you guys paid attention in last week's forecast. And remember, we do have a weekly downtrend and a daily downtrend. So what should we be doing here on the euro? Well, in my opinion, there are basically two options right now. One option is, I do not recommend getting in long at all on the euro right now. So one option is to wait for confirmation coming off of this 4-hour supply zone like that on a 15-minute chart. I think that that's fine because this is 4-hour confirmation coming off of weekly supply. So, you should be looking for maybe 15-minute confirmation coming off of the supply zone. That is my bad. So that is one option. The other option, which is what I'm probably going to be waiting for, is I'm going to be waiting to see what zone removes these two demand zones. So if we get something like this and we start to base out and then drop, and there's a supply zone right here, I would potentially look to swing trade that 4-hour supply zone. That takes place right here if that does happen. And remember, if you do want that supply zone just like this or other supply zones and demand zones, check out the YouTube or Patreon membership. Links are in the description down below. It's only $5 cap per month. You can get my chart analysis on a daily basis. We'll be happy to see you guys join the team. So those are the two options I see here on the euro. And remember, we have significant downtrends on the higher time frame. So getting in long is very low odds, and we want to be trading with the overall downtrends. All right, on to the gold forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 5,595 long positions and they added 918 short positions. So very significant thing happened here on gold. We have a weekly downward momentum right now. And if you look here on the daily chart, let me just blow it up for you guys really quick. Look at the daily chart here. We reacted off of this demand zone back here on the daily chart, and we reacted off of it again, but we recently just ended up taking out that supply zone, which is probably going to leave us with some sort of, that took out this demand zone, which is probably going to leave us with a supply zone right here or right here. We're going to have to wait to see what happens, and I will have that for the members probably by tomorrow. So a significant thing happened. We removed this daily demand, continuing with this daily downtrend. So it's very, very important here on gold. So gold is looking extremely weak. I do believe we are going to pierce a little bit lower to the downside. But in the meantime, what could we be doing as traders to start to look for, potential trade setups? Well, to be very clear, for me to get in long, I need to see this daily downward trend line at least be removed first, leaving us with daily demand, and that might be a decent area to potentially look for longs. Or what I need to start to see is a significant daily uptrend, and then I would feel comfortable hopping in long. But for the meantime, I am not interested in getting in long on gold just yet, unless we drop even lower if we don't get the daily uptrend. So As far as gold goes now, we have one 4-hour supply zone that really is catching my interest. I don't really day trade the 5-minute or the 15-minute chart, but you could definitely look for a short confirmation trade coming off of that supply zone just like that on gold. I think that that's, completely a fine thing to do. And if that fails, that's not really a problem because we have more supply zones above that you could do the same thing with to continue to trade with that daily downtrend. So as far as gold goes right now, that's pretty much all I'm seeing. Like I said, I wouldn't really feel comfortable getting in long just yet. I think we need to see, like I said, a daily uptrend start, or we need to push even lower down to this like 3-month area of demand right here that I've been talking about to some of the members. So hopefully that makes sense on gold. If you have any questions at all about this, just please comment down below and I will get back to every single one of you. USDJPY forecast. The past week, the banks added 5,824 long contracts and they got rid of 16,679 short contracts. You guessed it, the yen is still looking great for longs. We have significant uptrends on the daily and the weekly chart, but the problem is we've lost momentum here on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. But overall, since we have daily and weekly uptrends, I think it's fine to continue to look for longs. You could have been looking for longs on this 1-hour chart right here. I think that would be, fine right there. So you could definitely look for some sort of day trade confirmation coming off of that 1-hour demand. But other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot. What I'm kind of waiting for is for this 4-hour chart to start to trend up again when we remove this high, which would give us that overall 4-hour uptrend again. And then any new 4-hour zones that are formed, you could look for confirmation coming off of those zones just like that. So that's pretty much what I'm waiting for here on USD yen. And like I talked about last week, even if we continue to push lower on the USD yen, the great thing about that is we have significant daily demand zones right here, here, and here that we could look for some sort of, confirmation on lower time frames coming off those daily demands. And if you don't know what confirmation is, check out the level 2 tier 2 YouTube or Patreon membership where we have a private video series on confirmation trading. So definitely check that out. We'd be happy to see you guys watch those videos. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the USD yen. I'm either waiting for the 4-hour trend to continue up on the 4-hour chart, or I'm waiting for daily demand to be hit where I can look for an even better long position. All right, looking at the British pound forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 11,602 long positions and they added about 6,000 short positions. Remember, we do have a weekly and daily downtrend here on the pound, and we also have a 4-hour and a 1-hour downtrend. So you guessed it, it's shorts 100% of the time here in this situation. I wouldn't even consider getting in long until we could start to see significant shift in momentum on this H4 chart on the top right screen. And then I think looking for longs might be okay, but still very risky. So as far as trading setups go, if you look at a 4-hour chart right here, since we have downtrends, like I said, we want to be looking for shorts. And if you look, we barely wicked into this supply zone and we immediately shot down. So I think that this 4-hour supply zone and even this 4-hour supply zone are decent. I would just say maybe just this whole general area is decent to look for potential short confirmation to the short side in that general area. And the problem, if we do break these supply zones like this on the 4-hour chart, the problem with that, just hopping in long after that happens, is if you come over to a daily chart, we have a significant daily supply zone right here. So if you come up to here and it reacts off this supply zone, I could definitely see price dropping from that supply zone where we can get an even better kind of dip shorting opportunity at that daily area of supply. So even if we start to see significant shifts up on the 4-hour and 1-hour chart, we still have a little bit of a daily supply backstop right here where we could react off of that. So I'm either waiting for this to take place before acquiring a short position in the pound, or I'm going to be waiting for a new 4-hour supply zones that are a little bit cleaner than these two to potentially look for a short position in. So those are the things I'm waiting for on the GBPUSD. But overall, every chart time frame is down, so we want to be trading with that downtrend until the downtrend can be changed and proven to us that we will start to see a significant push up. USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,500 long positions and they also got rid of 9,000 short positions. Now, the USDCAD was kind of interesting for a while, and it's even more interesting now because we have a weekly uptrend and a daily uptrend at the same time, where before we had the weekly uptrend, but the daily chart was just kind of all over the map here. And if you look in last week's forecast, I talked about this daily demand and how it was a great potential buying opportunity. We actually pierced through that demand, but then we immediately pushed back up. So clearly that was some sort of fake out. I'm not sure why or the reason behind it, but that's fine. We still have trends on all 4 time frames. So you guessed it, it's longs here, 100% based on the trends. So there's a few options here. Pretty much only one option, but there are technically a few options. I'm not seeing any 4-hour fresh demand zones right here, but if you look at a 1-hour chart, a few of these 1-hour demand zones work pretty well. So either you could be looking to or you could be looking to trade with that daily uptrend. So any new 1-hour demand zones like that, you could look for confirmation in. And remember, if you are a YouTuber Patreon member, you will get all of my demand zones just like that. So I'm either waiting for that to happen, or what I would actually prefer is if you come and look at this daily chart here, technically we have 50 minutes left in the day, so technically this is not demand yet. We need to see this candle close above here. But if this candle closes and this demand holds, if this demand is valid, what you could be doing is looking for a 1-hour confirmation coming off that daily demand. This is what I will be doing personally, is looking for confirmation coming off that daily demand, since I'm not really a day trader anymore. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here on USDCAD. I just want to continue to trade with the overall trends and nothing else. I don't want to be shorting this yet. The only time I would consider shorting is if we can get a 4-hour downtrend like that, and then you could be shorting like a 5-minute, 1-minute chart. Other than that, it's still pretty risky based on the overall weekly and daily uptrend. So with that being said, USDCAD looking very strong right now. We just need to wait for a pullback to that daily demand, or wait for new 1-hour demand zones to be formed, or even 4-hour demand zones to be formed, where we can potentially look for long in those areas as well. All right, on to the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 4,000 long positions, and they also got rid of 2,700 short positions. Another great looking pair where we have weekly, daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour downtrends. So in my opinion, this is one of the best forecasts yet based on the opportunity, because every time frame is trending on most of these pairs right now. So there's a lot of opportunity. So as far as trading setups go here, we want to just be getting in short. I wouldn't even consider getting in long unless we can see a significant daily shift. I know a lot of you guys probably want to get in long and catch the opposite move. I just don't recommend it. And it's fine if you want to dislike the video because of that, or if you don't like me because of that. I just like to trade with the higher odd situations, and that is always with the downtrend. I don't care what anybody says. That is just my opinion. Hopefully you guys understand that. So as far as trading setups go, if you look at the 1-hour chart, we kind of had a few setups right here. If you remember, you had these zones and you could have got confirmation off of that zone or off this zone. I personally didn't. I don't really trade like that anymore. So as far as the 1-hour chart goes, not seeing a whole lot. But if you come over to a 4-hour chart, you can clearly see we have a 4-hour supply zone right here. So if it's not the highest quality supply zone either. But you could look for a confirmation trade coming off of that 4-hour supply zone. It's pretty high odds in my opinion. The look of the zone, the basing is not my favorite ever, but overall you'd be trading with the overall trend. So I think it's fine to look for confirmation in that area. Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot else on the Aussie US dollar. What I would be looking for, let's say price does not pull back to that 4-hour supply zone, but you're still looking for shorts. What I would just be waiting for is waiting for new supply zones to be formed along the way down like this. And then you could start to trade those supply zones like that. So that's all I'd be waiting for here on the Aussie dollar. Like I said, longs are very, very low odds right now, and the profit is definitely cut based on the downtrends on the higher time frames. So it's pretty much shorts all the way. We just need to wait for either new 1-hour or 4-hour supply zones to be formed before we can actually find a decent trading opportunity. But the Aussie dollar is definitely going to be in the top of my list this week, along with pretty much every other pair based on all of the trends. On to USD Swiss franc. The past week, the banks added a whole 90 long positions and they got rid of 3,178 short positions. This is a weird chart. It's definitely not on the top of my watch list this week for one reason, and one reason only. All of the other pairs have trends on all the time frames in the same direction, where the USD Swiss has a weekly uptrend that's very, very poor quality, and the daily chart down here is kind of all over the map. So in my opinion, this is not a great pair to look at right now. So the only thing I could really suggest is, since we are coming off of this daily demand right here, you could be looking for longs, since I do believe that the US dollar is going to be pretty strong. So as far as long trades go, there is technically this 4-hour confirmation right here. And why is this 4-hour confirmation? Well, it's because we were in daily demand, price pushed in and broke supply. So that is what confirmation is. So technically this is a setup right here. The problem is I hate zones like this. I hate zones at the extreme like this because it's a very obvious point of interest, this low, where there's going to be stop losses all of throughout here. So what I think could happen is something like this and then push up. So if you do want to get involved in this area, you're going to have to probably look for a 15-minute confirmation first and then possibly get in long. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the USD Swiss. It's just not looking fantastic for trading opportunities, but overall we had a daily downtrend right here. We broke the daily downtrend, and now we are starting to react off the zone that was responsible for removing the daily downtrend. So I definitely think we could see a move up from here. I personally am not super interested in trading this pair until we can get this high removed, because then we will have a daily uptrend, and then trading that becomes higher odds, in my opinion, once we can get that daily uptrend. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with potentially looking for a buying setup if we can get the pullback to that 4-hour demand zone to continue trading with this overall semi uptrend. All right, last but not least, we are to crude oil. The past week, the banks added 14,709 long positions, and they also added 2,130 short positions. This is a pretty interesting chart, in my opinion. I am kind of waiting for a long position on oil, just kind of based on the the pullback, and there's clear profit margin to $104 a barrel. So I am waiting for a long position, and something happened that I really like to see. The zone that I'm looking to be removed, which is this daily supply zone for my confirmation long entry, we reacted off this supply zone right here. We pushed down. So that proves to me that this is significant supply. So to keep it very simple, what I'm waiting for is for this supply to be taken out. And if it leaves us with a daily demand right here, I would potentially look for a long position coming off of that daily demand zone, and I would look for a huge move up to 104. So let's say we do get that push up on the 1-hour chart. Let's just say something like this, where we get the push up right here, and we have a small risk right here, stop loss here, entry here. If we get all the way up to 104, that is a huge risk to reward. So that is also why I'm looking for longs. But as far as oil goes for shorts, I'm not loving it for shorts, kind of based on the weekly demand that is in control and the significant push down. And I'm not really loving it for longs either. That's why I'm waiting for the daily shift in momentum to take place first before we can get in long. And like I said, the profit margin is all the way to this weekly supply zone at 104. So that profit margin is huge, especially if you can get in on like a 1-hour chart, even a 4-hour chart. If you can nail a 5-minute or a 1-minute entry and hold all the way to there, that's like 100-to-1 trade. I know that's pretty rare, but I'm just kind of trying to show you guys the potential opportunities here on oil. So like I said, waiting for this daily supply to be removed first before we start to look for longs. Hopefully you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership if you need help finding your supply and demand zones. It's only $5 CAD per month. Hope to see you guys there, and hope to see you in the next video.